SP. As always, I'm your host Josh, and this episode is brought to you by Great Lakes Discs. Whether you're looking for your new, whether you're looking for cool new gear or your new favorite disc, Great Lakes Disc has you hooked up. Hook you up. Hit the link in the link tree, and then this episode is also brought to you by Idio Sports. If you want to upgrade your game and take to the next level, make sure you get the disc golf shoes created by disc golfers for disc golfers. That link is also in the link tree, and use the discount code disc.seeker to save some money in your next order. Without further ado, I'll let my guest introduce himself fully, where he's from, and how he even got into disc golf.
Right, thank you very much. My name is Joshua Jones. I am right now. I'm from Middleburg, Florida. I was originally from the Concord, New Hampshire area for a very long time. A friend introduced me to disc golf. I want to say 10 years ago. We worked at a fair together, and he kept telling me about disc golf and how much he enjoyed it. And I was just one of those things where like, oh, we should go out and play sometime. And then that turned into maybe like 3 years, and then finally I actually got out and played, and it has been a quick addiction ever since. Just always out on the course as much as I possibly can be. Just trying to learn more about it and buying discs and just getting into it. Like it just never seems to stop.
Do you remember what your first disc that you ever got and thrown was?
So yeah, so I actually the first disc that I purchased was right after the first round. I have actually in my bag. One of them is a Swan, a very soft Swan. So I actually still have it. Um, I had I think I ended up with a West Side Hatchet, tournament hatchet, and then a buzz because it was a driver, a mid range, and a putter, and the buzz was just the go to mid range at that point in time. So I ran those for quite a while. Bag with
Okay, it's back.
just had a little bag with one of those little over the shoulder bags, and used those for quite a while. And then you all of a sudden you start figuring out, well, different discs do different things, and you start buying discs without actually learning how to throw them. And then you realize that they're all going the same distance, and it's not helping your game any, but that doesn't stop you from buying them. So, I think we all probably go down that road once or twice.
Yeah. So, how many how long did you play just casually before you found out that there's ever things of like tournaments and leagues?
So we had a really strong disc golf community there, and I probably played for like 6 months before leagues. One of the big things that we have, and probably most people have, or we had up in New Hampshire, was the random doubles, right? And I will always, if someone wants to get into the sport and they want to learn how to play, random doubles leagues are the absolute best way. Because one, you could get paired up with someone that is 100 times better than you. You could get paired up with someone who is just as good at you, but maybe does something a little bit different, and it allows you the chance to talk to them and just have that conversation while you're playing, and being on the card with people that are in the MPO division and watching how they play and asking them questions of like, hey, how should I throw this shot, or building that rapport. I think random doubles is probably the best way for people getting into this game to get into the community and learn the most and be able to practice the most about the sport. Because also in the doubles, your shot doesn't matter as much. But
Mm-hmm.
you still have those times when the MPO guy just slams into a tree, and all you have to do is just get it a little bit further, and now you get to take your shot. So I mean, a little bit of a confidence boost there when you play. So yeah, I always recommend random doubles. And then we had singles tournaments. I would go and I would just consider myself a donator. I mean, you put in $10 so that way someone else can win the money or do whatever. But it was still it's always been the social aspect. All the sports that I've ever played and I've tried to be involved with, this is the most social sport that I've ever played. And as competitive as it is, it's the most one where you can walk into it and you feel like you're walking into a community. You're not walking into, you know, uh, I don't know, maybe like a team scenario. I mean, I tried regular golf, but I just wasn't a regular golf person. I wasn't very good at it, but it just wasn't I'll call it my social level of game wasn't there. And I tried like a softball, and breaking into like a softball league or something where everybody knows each other. You just feel like the odd man out all the time. And I never ever have felt like the odd man out in anything in disc golf. They've always been so welcoming, and that's in pretty much any place that I play or any league that I've gone to. I used to travel for work a lot, so I'd bring a bag, and I'd be down in Pennsylvania to just go to a league, and people are just so nice. I mean, just to say, hey, come on in, play, and you always have a good time with them. So that's what's kept me. I'm not particularly good at the sport, but the social level and meeting the people, that's kind of really what's kept me in it. I mean, I love it, of course, but the people keep me in.
Yeah. So for people that are like, a lot of people seasons are just starting up, and a lot of people are just like getting ready to sign up for their very first tournament. What advice can you give them if they're like, should I sign up? Should I not? What's it going to be like? So what advice can you give to those people?
Yeah, I mean, if money's a concern, just look for a C tier or a flex start. Flex starts are cool because you can show up. You have to have 2 to 3 people on your card, so the person who's organizing it will put you on a card with people. And C tiers are always a lot of fun. I will tell people if it's something that you want to get into and you can afford to, and if you're not that great, you can afford to just give them your money as a donation, because just meeting the people and again being in the community is just, I find it amazing. um and just go into it with the fact that you want to have fun. The best tournaments that I've ever played, I have tried very hard to keep out of my head and just try to build a social rapport with the people that I am playing with. I play my best when I'm having good conversation with my card mates. When I'm on a very stressed card and everybody's out to win and they're not talking and they're all just concentrating on their shot and there's no banter, I don't fall apart, but I just don't have a good time, and I notice it in my game. But this past year at the Jacksonville Open, I mean, I ended up coming in second in my division, and we just
Ooh.
had a banger of a card. I mean, we had such a good all 3 days. It was a 3 day tournament, and every day I went, I played well, and I felt great. And the card and the people that I played with were just amazing. We laughed, we cheered each other on, and we tried to boost each other up when we had bad shots. And my play definitely improves when that happens. So to anybody else, just try to get into a good rhythm, keep your head out of what other people are doing, and just try to have a good time and try to have fun with it.
Yeah, I like that advice because that even for me personally, like I noticed like when I'm on cards where they like you said they're quiet and everything, I can't. It just throws me completely off. Like I'm known for being kind of goofy while I'm out there and cracking up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
have my card laugh. So I mean, when I'm not able to do that, I just feel out of place. I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of that where it's an individual sport that you play with multiple people. When you can't be yourself and you can't be your true unique person, right? Then it doesn't allow you to, if you're inside of your shell, you're going to tense up and you're not going to throw well, and you're not going to feel comfortable. And if you're not comfortable, you're never going to be able to play this sport well, because it really requires you to be relaxed.
Yeah, the more relaxed you are, the better you perform. That is so true.
Yeah.
So what is like your all the courses that you've been to so far? What are your top 5 courses that you've played?
Top five. So though it's one property, my number one course is Brewster Ridge up in Vermont. So being from New Hampshire, I've registered and I'm going to go up again this year. But the Brewster Ridge Open is probably my favorite tournament. I've played it. I've only played it once, but the property is just amazing. I consider the Brewster Ridge property and the whole Smuggler's Notch. I just consider that disc golf mecca. I mean, they have the Fox Run course, which is way too big for my arm. I mean, I just go there and I throw out of bounds all the time and I just rack up. But it's an amazing property to go play, and to say that you've played it is really cool. So I think those are my one and two are probably going to be Brewster Ridge and Fox Run, even though they're on the same property, Smuggler's Notch. I mean, I got to give nods to Top of the Hill in Canterbury, New Hampshire, because that's my home course. Every time I want to go to New Hampshire, I will play that course, and that is just it's where you cut your teeth, and it just has a lot of memories. All my buddies who are on the winter team challenge team, they play out of that course. So I mean, that is definitely in my top five. Um, I have played Maple Hill. That is a good course, and I want to give it the respect that it deserves because it is an awesome course. Um, and then probably after that, it's going to be we have this down here in Florida in Jacksonville. There is a course that's called New World. I think if you were to look back, you could look it up on YouTube and you could type in New World, and I think it was like somewhere in the early 2000s or something. They actually had a championship professional round there, right? So I mean, it is there's there's two there's really two courses on the property. However, there's probably 15 layouts
Oh
because like
wow.
each course has two tee pads and up to three baskets. So there's and you can play up the red side and you can play down the white side, or you can play up the blue side, down the red side, up the blue, down the white, and you can do that with all the different combinations. They have a course there, and it's the red course, and it's the professional course that was put in for the event, and it is long. It is just incredibly long. I can't. It's embarrassing what I score on that. But people have been putting work into it. They have the New World Disc Golf Association. They've been putting work into it, and they made an alternate layout, and I love it. I go there, and it's very beginner friendly, even though you are on a very like spread out, large like golf course type environment. They have some great wooded holes. They have some really good actual like bunkers that you have to play your casual relief, not casual
Okay.
relief, but you have to play your how do they play? They play just as a penalty shot. And so, I mean, you have those that you see out on the course where you have to avoid things. And even though it's wide open, they have some really tight OB. And I just love that course. They just put it in recently and they just added it to UDisc. But I'm going to say that that one is going to be in my top five because it's just, I think they did an amazing job to be able to make a pro level course and make it beginner amateur friendly to make you think about playing the other two layouts. So
That's
yeah, that
really
one's New
cool.
World in Jacksonville.
That is really cool. How often have you played that one? Quite a few times
So
already,
I
or?
probably that one I try to play it as much as I can. I'm probably on my like fourth playthrough. To be able to play it, but it is they just opened it up for layout probably two months ago, I think. So there's always been courses there. Again, there's been all the other layouts. This is just the layout that I enjoy the most out of all.
So, are you backhand or like backhand only? You able to do forehand, or are you forehand
My
dominant?
forehand is trash. I am backhand dominant. I always tell myself every season I'm going to learn how to throw a forehand this year, and every time I try, it comes out like a wounded bird. And I just figure I can throw a backhand turnover shot just so much easier than I can throw a forehand. And so I just tell myself, why do I struggle? And I mean, I always think that you need to have both to be well rounded in the game. And I mean, I'm pushing 50 years old, so I mean, it's not like I'm really going to be, doing anything too crazy in the game. So I can just deal with my dominant backhand, and I use very weak forehands to get myself out of trouble when I absolutely have to.
That's pretty cool. So like your strengths of your game, and you know how to use them. So
Yeah,
that's like a big key.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for the strengths that I have, I mean, that's I know about that much.
So, what advice can you give to people like if they can't throw far and they're in a tournament and they're like everyone on their card is just launching further than them? Like, what advice do you have for them to keep just to their game and just stay focused on, hey, it's okay to not throw like 8 million miles like everyone else?
Yeah, I think just shoot for par. Right? I mean, so many people are thinking that they have to shoot under par, and especially if you're just beginning in this sport and you're in like, AM3, AM4, if you just go out there and think, I just have to shoot par, just play smart, just, put stuff in the middle. And if it's a par four, just figure, all right, I'm just going to keep in the middle for four because the guys that are throwing long, they're ultimately probably going to end up that while they have that extra distance, they might throw it OB. They might throw it into a tree real hard, ricochet back. I mean, they're going to end up making mistakes just like everybody in that division does. But if you are consistent and you keep yourself just playing for par and not trying to get too crazy with it, and I think that you can do well. The one that was hard for me to learn, especially being in New Hampshire, and you probably have this in Buffalo where you are, is woods golf, right? I mean, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble in woods golf, and you can get yourself off course real easy, and where you're not OB, but you just have to make an insane shot, and then you have two choices. Do I just take the easy choice and I just pitch out and take a stroke, or do I try something just incredible and it has a very low percentage of success, but you're like, if I make it, I'm going to feel really good. Whenever I try that, I never make it and I never feel good. And it would have been so much smarter just to pitch out, try to get it as much forward momentum as you can to get out of the spot that you're in. So that way you can attack wide open. Because when you're in the woods and you have to get out, you're just going to end up deeper if you try something really crazy, and then that's how you rack up really high numbers. So playing smart, keep it in the middle, and yeah, you don't have to throw far to win. You just have to play smart and stay in your own game.
Yeah, everyone that knows me knows like we have a really tough wooded course here, Royalton Ravine. It's put in a couple of years ago. Everyone that knows me knows I struggle there because I'm that person that goes off course and tries the hero shot every time.
Yeah, yeah, because you can see this little gap, and you're like, man, if I can just hit this gap, I can get it out of here. I can get another 100, 120 feet, 200 feet forward, but the gap's like the size of a piece of paper, and you're just looking at the side and you're like, this is going to be better than me just throwing it out. And but it never works out that way. At least not for me anyway. If
Uh,
I do it 100 times, I might hit the shot once. But other than that, it's going to cost me. It's going to cost me, 4 strokes or whatever it's going to be. Just spending your time in the woods and just walking up 5 feet and trying to throw it again. And that's not fun golf for me. So it took me a long time to realize just pitch it out, and then once you're in the wide open, you can throw it as far as you want.
yeah. So now being in Florida, is it more open courses and less woods now?
Yeah, yeah, much
Oh,
more. There,
gorgeous.
they a lot of the old, it's a lot of old golf courses, right? I mean, that's they've put in. We have a really nice course here called the Grove that was just put in recently. I think it's 18 baskets, but I think it at least has three layouts. Three different tee pads and two different baskets, and that one was built. It's actually in a gated community, and
Ooh,
it's one of the only pay-to-play courses. It's gorgeous though. Like the $10 that you have to play, well worth it. And the $10 gets you in the gate, gets you a parking spot, and then you can go out and play the course. But it's weird because you're around all of these like HOA homes. I mean, you're kind of walking the paths through the home. So it's a little weird, and you want to make sure that you don't throw it into someone's backyard. But it's gorgeous property. And I think the point of that, now I'm trying to remember what the point of the conversation was, but I'll remember what was the question?
I just asked if Florida is more
Oh
open
yeah.
instead of wooded.
So yeah, there are, but it was on an old abandoned. Nobody wanted to do anything with golf course. And New World, the one that I was telling you about, that used to be a 18-hole golf course, and at least 18. It might have had 36. The other big one in Jacksonville, Four Palms, I think that a very long time ago used to be a 9-hole ball golf course. So they're kind of switching them over. I did go to play a place in Gainesville just recently, Legacy Oaks, I believe it was called, and they had some really nice wooded holes with some wide open, and it was the first place where I walked up to a hole and I felt like I was back in New Hampshire. I'm like, man, this really looks like this is the first Florida hole I've ever played. It makes me feel like I'm back up north. So they do exist. I hear Jacksonville is building another wooded course, and they're going to be getting one. It's going to be in South Jacksonville. I just heard rumors of it. And that one's going to be more wooded than what we're really used to around here, because everything that I go do is pretty wide open. But there's the good courses build in some challenging OB and some other things to make it so it doesn't feel like you're just hucking the disc as far as you possibly can every single time. Because just because they're open doesn't mean they're easy, and the wind does become a bigger factor when it's wide open. And now you're playing for position rather than trying to squeeze through trees. You're playing for position in the wide open and trying to manage the wind, and that's not easy. I had a very hard time adjusting to the wind.
Yeah. That kind of sounds like how Shadow Pines is in Rochester, which is like an hour and like 15-minute drive from my house. They took an old golf course and made it an 18-hole disc golf course. So it's
Oh,
really
nice.
nice. It's gorgeous.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool. So what is this? What is Second Chance Disc Golf? Like, what
All
is
right.
that?
So,
Where did the name come from, and when did it start?
okay. So in 2021, as I was playing, I had played a round of disc golf with some friends, and I started not to feel so well afterwards. Went to the hospital and got checked out, and I ended up having a massive heart attack in the
Wow.
hospital. It's the only reason why I survived because I was in the emergency room when it happened. It ended up 9 days. I was in a medically induced coma. They had to ship me to another facility. This was, yeah, April of 2021, and so they had to
Wow.
pack me up. The hospital in Concord, New Hampshire, they saved my heart. They were able to go in and fix what was wrong, but I was without oxygen and everything else for so long that now the kidneys are shutting down and everything else. And they had to put me on this thing called ECMO, which basically is just it's a device to keep you alive, just so that way your body can try to heal itself. But when you have that, you have to have somebody with you 24/7, and the hospital didn't have anybody, so they shipped me down to Mass General. And now I'm out for this whole thing. I woke up in Mass General Hospital. I was intubated. They had to pull out the tube and everything else, and I had no idea where I was. Had a real hard time remembering where I was. And so I went through that. It was 28 days of learning to walk again. I mean, I knew how to walk, but I had to gain the strength to walk again and do all this other stuff. And it just became this very long process. So when I came out of that, and it took me about 2 years to get back to regularly playing disc golf, both for a mental thing and for a health and a rehabilitation thing. But when I got out of that and I decided that I was, disc golf is really this thing that I want to get back into. That's when I decided that I wanted to come up with some way that I could give back to um, the American Heart Association, and as well as try to give back to the disc golf community as well, because the disc golf community up north was amazing to me. I mean, there was a tournament that they were running that while I was in the hospital, and they ended up like turning it over to a 50-50 to raise money for me, and the person that won the
Wow.
50-50 donated that money back. And so, I mean, just all of this stuff that they did for me was just incredibly amazing. So I just felt like I had this second chance at life. The heart attack that I had has a only like a I don't know. I think it's like a 30% survival rate, right? So
Wow.
it's super low. And again, that's the reason why I was in the hospital. Super lucky. I'm the luckiest person on the face of the earth, and that I will never win the lottery. I will, I don't even try because I know that I used up every ounce of luck that I had. I had the right doctor, the best heart surgeon happened to be on call that day, and just all of these things that just happened to be able to get me through it. But regardless, so I started doing things like t-shirts and pressing t-shirts and second chance disc golf and all these other things. And so I was selling those and setting up, and it did okay because I donate at that point in time. I was donating when I was just doing the shirts. I donated 50% of all of my proceeds to the American Heart Association. So then pick up and we decided to move to Florida. And I'm like, well, most of my friends and things were the ones that were buying my shirts and all this other stuff. So now I have to get into this new community and I'll be honest, I haven't worked my way into the community. I've met some amazing people, don't get you wrong, but it's not like I know everybody, and I don't feel like I'm part of the community, and that's not anything on them. That's just because I haven't had the time to do it. We moved into a new house and we're doing this other stuff, and I just haven't been able to go to leagues and do the things that I normally do. I digress. But when I came down here, it was like, well, do we just do shirts again? And then I thought, well, why don't I've always wanted to try a store, right? And try to sell discs and sell plastic. And you can see them behind me. Like I went out and I decided, okay, I'm going to form an LLC now, and I did that with Second Chance. It's registered in the state of Florida, and I went and I started approaching manufacturers, and started with like House of Discs and all the big guys, and they're all very nice, and you talk to them and you let them know what you're doing, and you get to be a retailer, and even though you're just this really small mom and pop that's online, they're like trying to help you out and give you advice and all this other stuff, which is great. So just started coming in, and I just set up a store online and started a website and did some um, did some advertising just through Meta and stuff like that. And it's actually pretty incredible how that has kind of grown. And I mean, it's like at first I thought about it. I'm like, man, there's so many places to buy discs, right? Like, what do you have to do in order to make yourself different in this, and so the big thing that I have is the heart attack story, and the fact that I'm not going to retire off this. You're selling small pieces of plastic, pretty low margin. I mean, how the brick and mortar stores even do it is beyond me. Like, I mean, because you're looking at what it costs to rent a building or to lease a building or have your own building and stuff like that, and you're selling the plastic. Like, I haven't even gotten to that point yet, right? So have a small amount of inventory and just advertise online through social media. I run the Second Chance Disc Golf out of like TikTok and Facebook, and Instagram is usually where I hang out the most. And I put up videos of me doing my questions and aces segment, because I wanted to get to know people, right? I didn't have a lot of people to play with here, so I decided, okay, I'll do this. I wanted to think of a segment that I could do. So every day I go out there, or every day that I can, I go out there and I try to attempt an ace in my backyard. It's nice. I have about a 250-foot backyard, so I can set a basket out there, and I just ask a question, and to try to get answers from people, what their favorite disc is, what's their favorite course that they've played, all the kind of things that we're doing here, and try to get them to respond and kind of buy into having that community there. And that TikTok took off very well. And then I've kind of, once that took off, now I'm starting to move it over to Instagram and Facebook. And, I try every month, I try to give away a disc, at least one. If there's a holiday, I'll do another special one. But I mean, that's kind of my way to kind of give back, to do like a contest and get people free things. I just had my 100th order, and I gave away Paul Macbeth grip bag, the PX1 or whatever it is. So I got one and had a big contest, and basically I just said, look, you didn't want to purchase, but if you signed up for my mailing list on the website, then you were entered to win. And as soon as the 100th order hit, then I'd give it away to the random winner. And so that was pretty cool. And I got a lot of followers, and I got a lot of people that were coming in, and yeah, I mean, and the disc sales are just they make me happier than anything else that I do. I mean, an order comes in and I get to box it up and ship it out to them, throw them a couple stickers, write them a handwritten note. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, just the fact that people see this small ad from this little company that they know nothing about, and they decided to put faith in me to be able to order this stuff. I take that very seriously, and I have a lot of pride in that, and I enjoy it every time I wake up to a new order, because a lot of people shop after hours. I get a lot of my orders coming in. They're usually, I just think it's people that are probably like scrolling the internet, and they're just like, okay, I'll buy this. And then, so usually I'll wake up in the morning to 2 orders that I got to pack up and get down to the post office. So I did that, and then I'm trying to think of what else do I want to do there, right? And so my plans, I'm hoping for April 15th is my anniversary date, right? And I don't have enough time to do anything this year, but I want to start to try to get into a charity tournament that's going to be around that time in April, and then have the payouts for the MPO, and be able to do my own what do you call it, funny money for things at the stores, for the amateur payouts, and then take the rest of the proceeds and do some other things, and give that back to the American Heart Association. So that's kind of my big driving factor, and then trying to support the disc golf community as best I can.
That's really cool. So
yeah, go ahead.
What are you throwing this year personally in your bag? Like what do you throw?
I throw a majority West Side. I mean, you can see the Team West Side. I am not on Team West Side. This is actually a funny story. This was actually a Matty O shirt that a friend got from him after he played the Green Mountain Open up in Vermont. A friend got it from him, and he gave it to, and he was like, you know what? I don't throw a lot of West Side, but Josh is a West Side junkie, so he gave me the shirt. So yeah, I'm definitely not on Team West Side. Not good enough for that at all. But it's just cool to wear Matty O's shirt. and do that. But yeah, that's my brand of choice, and it's really around the stamps. I love the Norse stamps. I actually have collected the Finnish stamp discs, the ones that are actually in the Finnish language. I try to throw as many of those as I can in my bag. But yeah, it's really just that theme. It's not that they make me throw any better; they don't make me play any better. But I just really like the theme, so I bought into that. And so my bag right now is probably 90. I'm going to say it's probably 98%, West Side, and then
Yes.
it's I have I have a river that I'm trying to play with, and I have a Boca that I bought for myself because I wanted to see what the hype was about. And it's a good disc. I don't know if it's going to replace anything, but I just put those in my bag to see what I thought of them on the course. But other than that, I've been 100% West Side thrower for a very long time, probably to my detriment, but I love it. So.
Hey, you can always find a nice home at Part Team Trilogy with me over
Yeah, yeah,
there.
there we go.
It's just a fanboy club. I mean, you love
Yep.
West Sides. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've been on a couple of I was when I was sick. So my collection started when I was sick and I was at home recovering. And they always say like that thing that like the elderly people buy a lot of packages is just so the UPS guy will show up and they feel like people are coming to their house. I can honestly attest that that's a thing, right? Like that is when you are down and it's like I mean you're home by yourself and you're just like I started just scrolling discs and the West Side pages and stuff, and I just got it in my head that I wanted to collect every single finished disc that I possibly could that was in those stamps, in the stock stamp. And so I go online. Like I even had people that were in Facebook groups in Finland that I was communicating with that were shipping me discs from there. Like that's how I got my long bowman and a couple other ones. But yeah, that it becomes an addiction really fast. And it was just the dopamine of having something to open when you're not feeling well and you're recovering. That is a real thing. And I went down a rabbit hole with the discs really quick.
So, did you watch any of the coverage from the tournament over the weekend of the Pro Tour?
I have only watched the FPO round so far. I haven't been able to watch anything from I haven't been able to watch anything from the MPO round just because of this acquisition that we're going through. Normally when I'm at work and if anybody's watching me, but normally when it's time I'll have it on one screen and I'll be doing my work on another. Right. But when I'm doing an acquisition and we're passing data back and forth, I just don't have time to pay attention to the tournaments, unfortunately. So I watch them mostly in post production. Jomez,
Yep.
and I've gotten through the FPO. I've gotten through the first two rounds of FPO. I actually haven't watched the end yet, though I know what happens. I'm not a big spoiler person. Like you can tell me what happens. I just want to watch good disc golf being played. Whoever wins at the end, that's just I don't need to be surprised by that. But yeah, that one was actually right down the road. I say right down the road. It was about 2.5 hours away. I had made plans. I was going to have plans to go down there because it's in Brookville. I think it's called Brookville is where Olympus is, and my parents actually live in like the next town over. So I was going to go stay with them, and I was going to go watch it live, and then I had the chance to register for Throw Down the Mountain, and Throw Down the Mountain is next weekend, and that's on the same course. I ended up having to withdraw from that for reasons that things come up in life, and so I ended up having to withdraw from that. But I was planning on going down there, and it is just 2.5 hours away. So I'm looking forward to going down and playing that course at some point in time. And I think at some point in time, since it's a season opener now, I will go down there and I will watch it in person just because it's so close.
Yeah. So, if you were to still be going to Throw Down the Mountain, what would your practice look like leading up to that?
So I mean, I probably would have only been able to practice the course once. I was planning to go down on Thursday to be able to get one round in. Other than that, I would have just played the local courses and just worked on shots. I mean, because you can look up and you can see what the course kind of looks like on Jomez, and you can see, I mean, I'm not throwing from the pro tees by any means. Like that's why I watch like the FPO field, is because, well, they
Yes.
could all ruin me. I mean, I'm sure all of them could beat me as far as go, but those are the tee pads that I'm going to be playing from, right? I mean, they
Yep.
are closer to my level, while they are well above me, they are close to my level of play and realistic level of play than MPO is. Like, I mean, I couldn't. I'd be taking 15s on those holes. I mean, I just don't.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't have that arm. I don't have that consistency. I just don't have that discipline. So me watching that as something to learn about the course is just kind of useless. So you watch FPO, you watch the shorter tee pads, you're like, okay, this is what it potentially is going to look like for me.
Yeah. So I forgot to ask you this. So what do you think so far after 2 rounds of the FPO coverage? What's your thoughts so far?
And I think that live disc golf has come an awful long way, right? I mean, I remember when they first launched it and everything else, and I remember when it was the DOS couple that had a bed sheet behind them, right? They didn't even have anything; they just had like this like weird pattern bed sheet behind them, and they're trying to make it happen. And people I feel are I mean, they pay money for it, and people always think that because they pay money for it, they have the chance to criticize it. And yeah, they've had some stumbles. They've had a lot of stumbles. I mean, there's sometimes where they get into places in the woods where all of a sudden the cell coverage just and you're looking at pixels, right? I mean, that's they don't have the money that ball golf has to be able to bring in satellites and everything else to be able to get you a clear, crystal clear picture. But the only way that they're ever going to get to that point is with support, right? And so I have
Mm-hmm.
always supported the effort, right, and try not to criticize it too much. I mean, I know I'm not very good at announcing, and I mean, you need to, if you follow any other sport, they have a good color commentator and they have a good stats guy, and they work together in that way. I don't know that live disc golf has found that pairing yet. I think that post production has found it. Like I think Yuli Germ and Nate Sexton. I think if they could get them on every single production of whatever it is, I just think that they have a chemistry that works for the sport because of all the shared knowledge that they have within the sport. I know Nate Sexton has done some live, and I always appreciate when he does do live because I like what he brings to the sport. But that being said, I again, until you support it and until they start seeing income come in, that's the only way that's ever going to get better. People will complain about seeing the ads. I mean, everybody has ads. I mean, just because you pay for something doesn't mean that the ads go away. I mean, they need to make revenue somehow because they need to be able to support the players. They need to be able to get it out to us and all these other things. Like everything in this world costs money.
Yep.
So, I mean, the fact that there's some people out there that think that it's not a great product and, they're not going to pay for it. Like the only way that it'll ever get better is if you support it. That's my opinion anyway, and I happily support. Even if I don't watch it every week, I usually happily support the live coverage just so that way they have a chance and they're trying to get better because I would love someday, even if it wasn't mainstream tournaments. I would absolutely love it if the live coverage looked like a regular golf event and they had the satellite
Yes.
trucks and they had the things and they didn't lose out the coverage and they could get like 5 or 6 aerial shots, whatever they wanted to do. I think that would be amazing. I do believe that I've seen that they've incorporated some drone shots into
Yep.
a lot of the coverage, and I think that's pretty incredible. I mean that we've brought that to the sport, and I mean just to be able to get that view. I mean everybody's gone to the overhead view, and the fact that they can keep the disc in. I like when I'm older, so I mean showing my age a little bit here, but when I watch ball golf, the fact that they've now put the trail on the ball is the only reason why I could watch it. Before it was just a guy swinging and walking. I couldn't see where the ball was. I don't
Yeah.
care what the resolution was. So it was just somebody swinging and then walking up and then you see where it lands. I didn't see the actual thing. So the fact that we can keep an eye on the disc either with the catch cam or with the trailing cam, like I mean, it's amazing what they're doing for the sport, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the flight of the disc is what brings people into the sport.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, just watching a well thrown disc is more entertaining than I ever thought it would. Like when we would sit in certain places in certain courses, you can watch somebody else throw while you're on a tee pad or whatever, and you can just see this beautiful. Like it gets the full flight, and it takes the entire space of what the disc can do, and it just is so pretty. I mean, and I really do think that that is what brings a lot of people into it. That the aerodynamics of that they kind of get hooked on that. And then when you can do it yourself to some extent, and you can see, okay, it might not have been 500 feet, but that was 300 feet just the best throw that I've ever had, like that's the adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
And I think, they always say like in golf and in disc golf, it's always drive for show and putt for dough. But what does everybody want to do? Everybody wants to throw 500 feet.
Yep.
Nobody's talking. I mean, it's only the pros that are like, man, I want to practice circle two putts until I can hit them at 85%. Nobody's talking about that, even though that's what they should be concentrating on. We should be all trying to make those putts at 85%. But everybody is like, 500 feet. I want to throw 500 feet. And I even have the same. I'm on this thing that even at 50 years old, I don't want 500, but I want 400. I want to realize I do not have good form. And I realistically think even at my age, I can still hit 400 feet. I'm at like 320 right now at my absolute max with what I'm going to call questionable form. Right. I mean, I'm not maximizing my form at all. So, and I mean, in that way, I am kind of a geek. I've been a geek about that. Like when I play guitar, like I always wanted to have, great technique, and I always wanted to have these things, and you spend your time focusing on it. And I will geek out that way where it's like you'll study and you'll try to get the right form, and it's not easy, right? I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? And
Hmm.
there's just so much to that mechanic and so much that you have to train your body to do, and you have to get in shape for it and make sure that your body can make those motions. So that's kind of been the quest for me right now. And like I said, I'm making slow progress. It's definitely not a fast change, a fast progress thing.
Yeah. I mean, no one's got more questionable form than I do. If you've watched any of my throwing videos, it's very unique.
Yeah. And I mean, but as long as you're out there having fun, right? I mean, that is the best part about this sport too, is that I mean, kind of like ball golf in a way, like I feel like it's ageless, right? I mean,
Hmm.
they have the AM 70s and above and stuff like that, because as long as you're out there having fun and staying mobile, you can throw a disc and you can walk up to it and you can keep doing it again, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to keep making forward progress. And as long as you can make forward progress and you're happy with the progress that you're making, you can play this game. And that's the great part of it as well.
Yeah. So as we're wrapping this up, you got any questions for me?
Oh yeah. I mean, how did you get into it? I mean, what made you all the things that I wanted to do, and with all this, I thought of a podcast and stuff like that and had all these ideas written down, but I just can't follow through on stuff like that. So what brought you into the podcast arena?
Um, so what got me into this was after watching a pro tour event, I watched the winner get the interview, and then I was starting to think to myself, I was like, man, all these disc golfers that are involved with this sport, like not might even get an interview or you get a chance to share their story, because it's the people that only get the interviews are the only guys that are always winning all the time. It's like,
Yeah.
or they have a big name, then they get a chance to share their stories. And I was thinking to myself, there's really nothing out there where anybody and everybody in disc golf can share their story. So I was like, you know what? I'll start a platform, and the whole object of this is to get as many disc golfers as I can on this platform and give them a chance to share their story.
Yeah, that's awesome. That
Yep.
is. What live event was it?
I can't even remember. It was
Oh, okay.
last year. Yeah, this is only my second year watching the pro tour, so
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So you don't remember the bed sheet then? You don't remember the roll into? How long
nope.
have you been playing actually? Like how long have you been on the course?
Um, I'm going to my fourth season.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
So
And
I'm
so,
a post-COVID boom kind of player.
oh, okay. Yeah, that was interesting. Being someone now, I didn't get into it. I mean, I probably had 10 years, and how long has it been since that? It's been about 5 years since that. So I mean, I probably was in it 5 years before, but I mean, just all of a sudden when our local course had to closed down for a little bit. And then I worked with being in IT, I worked with the course owner to figure out how to do tea times, right? So that way because that was one of the things they could open back up, but only if they could have hard tea times. And so that way people could stay, it wasn't just everybody gathering at one time. So we did that. And it was interesting just to see, man, he thought for a very long time that he was going to keep the tea times up and running, and he did for a little bit after COVID. But then all of a sudden, it just became the fell off started to happen, and there wasn't the need for the tee times anymore, so people could just show up and play whenever they wanted and stuff like that. But that boom was pretty incredible to watch and be a part of, and see it happen, just because people needed a reason to get outside, and that was one of the best ways to get outside. You could still exercise and do what you wanted to, and just to have fun outside with your friends still.
Yeah, when COVID happened, like I was involved with motorcycle track riding. I was doing flag football and then indoor hockey. Well, when COVID happened, all three of those things you couldn't do anymore. So
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
fell out of doing those sports, and then I was like, all right, what else is there to do? And then my buddy from work took me out disc golfing. I sucked at it, and I got hooked ever since.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing that it's like even being bad at it, and for me, I think it was just a chance to get better, right? I mean, be like you watch other people do it, and it's like if that guy can do it, I got to be able to do this, right?
Yep.
And it can't be. I mean, I'm not saying it's not hard. It is hard, but it's not impossible. So you see some hope, and then all of a sudden you get that one good shot, right? And it could be your first time playing, and it just releases out of your hand just right, and it just lands almost right next to the basket, and you're like, now you're hooked. You're like, oh, I did it. Now I'm going to chase that feeling for the rest of the time.
Yep. Any other questions?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you compete at? Do you compete in tournaments? Do you run tournaments? Like, what else do you do other than the podcast with the sport?
I compete a lot. Last year I did 25 tournaments, and then this year
Oh
I think
wow.
I'm doing 17.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm very competitive with it. So I
There
do
you go.
anything from C tiers to A tiers. I like I'll drive like an hour and a half out to go play a tournament. So yep.
Yeah. I want to get more when because I hit 50, or because I'm 49 this year, but I turned 50 in this year, so now I can register for AM 50. So I have 10 years, and I want to try to get an invite to Amateur Worlds in the AM 50. So that's kind
Yeah.
of my goal: get out there, play enough tournaments, and be able to see if I can get myself a points invite.
Yeah, Am Worlds is actually at my whole local courses here this year.
Oh, it
So
is.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Oh, that'll be
it's
fun.
coming to Buffalo. So yeah, so
That's
hopefully I
great.
qualify. We'll see.
Yeah, there you go. That would be
Yeah,
great to be able to play at your home course. Though it is always fun to travel, but I mean, it would be great to have it right there.
yeah. So
Oh
yeah,
man, I
I got
definitely wish you luck for your season.
yeah. We'll see. We'll see if I qualify to start with. So so
What division do you play in?
MA2.
MA2? Okay.
Yeah, MA2, and then I might dabble to MA1 towards the end of the season. So we'll see
Yeah.
how that goes.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
doing MA. Well, I was doing AM 40 for a very long time up in New Hampshire. And then I moved here to Florida, and I realized that AM 40 is pretty much all of the older AM 1 guys I mean, I'm reaching the end of the 40s, and these guys are all 39, and they're just getting out of AM 1. I mean, it's just getting skunked by these guys. And I mean, it's great to meet them and stuff like that, but it was just like, you know what, maybe I ought to try to play my rating. And so I dropped down to M4, M3, and stuff like that. And I figured that once I hit 50, I'll get into the 50 range, and I'll be the younger 50 guy, and see how that works out.
Yeah. So my final question for you tonight is, what goals do you have for this year?
And I want to get out and play as many tournaments as I can. I'd like to at least do one a month if I can. Hopefully get like 12, 11 or 12 in. I am looking forward to going up north to the Brewster Ridge Open, and for me, I think it really is just. It sounds cliche, but I really do want to work on my putting. I mean, as with everybody else, I think that is really my weakest part of my game. And I finally am at a point where I feel like I can be consistent with it at specific distances, right? And I have a motion that's working, and I have basically a pattern that's working, and I just have to keep working it outwards. So that way I can, I don't have to feel like I'm I always say in order to get the two, you got to risk the four, right? But I mean,
Yeah.
really, it should be in order to get the two, you got to risk the three, right? I mean, because you should at least be able to. Just because you're trying for that bird doesn't mean that you have to overshoot the basket by 100 feet again, right? I mean, there's other ways to
Yeah.
do that. So changing that mentality that, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to give it a pretty good run, but I'm not going to allow myself to overthrow it by 30 feet and put myself two more strokes out, right? So it's kind of working on that. And again, it's my plan to work on my 400, right? I mean, I live out in Florida. I have wide open courses. If I can throw it 400 feet, man, I would love to. So I got 80 feet to go, and we'll see
Yeah.
how that. We'll see if I can fix that with form changes.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. This is a good time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Have a good night.
Yeah, you as well, man.